Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly coven summoning. My name is Ulsa,
And my name is Stacy.
and we're
Caffeine and Conjuring, a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
If you've been following along with our previous episodes, we've been discussing Sarah J. Maas's series, Throne of Glass, and specifically for the first part, the first book, the titled Throne of Glass book, not Assassin's Blade. We're not doing that reading order here.
Controversy.
As our other episodes, please keep in mind we're going to be talking about all of the spoilers. Everything will get spoiled for book 1, so please make sure you at least finish the book Throne of Glass before you listen to this episode. As always, please refrain from revealing any spoilers on any of our social media accounts, as we want a fun and spoiler-free experience for everyone who hasn't caught up yet.
Like me.
So to recap a little bit, Throne of Glass. After a year of slavery, an infamous teenage assassin named Selena is given the chance to become the tyrannical king's personal assassin, also known as the King's Champion, by representing Prince Dorian Havillard in a competition against the most gifted thieves and assassins in the land. She must survive every test and trial in order to proceed to the finals, in which she has to fight her remaining opponents. As candidates are found dead in the castle, their bodies ruptured, Selena finds herself delving deep into the mysteries concerning not only her, but her very own ancestors and the creatures of darkness that dwell beneath the castle.
Ooh.
Oh, what a wild ride it's been this past month.
Oh, but it's been fantastic. Like, what a start. This is a solid start to a series.
Yeah.
I was immediately, as soon as I closed the book, just wanting to jump into book 2.
Absolutely.
I haven't yet, because I had other responsibilities. But still, it's just the fact that that's what it made me want to do, and that is a good book in my books.
And when a series is 7 books long, and each book seems to get longer and longer and longer, the first book raises so many questions and so little answers, so immediately you just want to dive right into the next. Like, you don't want to put it down.
Yeah. And there's so many, like, smaller subplots happening throughout this whole book that's just setting up things for future books.
Yeah.
There's still so many questions that haven't been answered.
Like, we have the competition, but, like, where did the magic go?
Mm-hmm.
There's a kingdom of witches? What witches?
What?
How can a prince be so nice when his father is a total monster?
And his mother is questionable as well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, too, it's everything to do with, like, what's going to happen now with Kale. What's going to happen with Caltaine? Not that we care much about Caltaine, but...
Is she just going to rot in the dungeons going through opium withdrawals? Who knows?
Whoops. And then, like... Oh, there's more... Like, I want to see more with her, the maid servant person.
Philippa Spindlehead?
Yeah, I want to see more with Philippa Spindlehead. Like, oh... And the way I really felt that the ending was done in such a, like, great way that it was a comfortable spot to end it, you know? Like, it wasn't like this massive cliffhanger that, I don't know, like, I love cliffhangers because it makes you want to jump right into the next book. But this one, it is still, like, you have all these questions, you want to jump into it, but it's not such a smack you in the face cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, they do such a good job at cluing up some things, but still leaving just that little seed.
And some books really do have those cliffhangers. So it's nice that they're not
We're looking
all
at you,
like
Rebecca
that.
Yarros.
Yeah. Come on, Onyx Storm. We are waiting so impatiently.
Like, a month and a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's so soon.
Mm-hmm. So how did I know, like, this is your second time reading through it, so we can't really get a true, honest like first impressions from you. But how do you feel your first impression of this book versus now?
It's complicated. I know my opinion is swayed by reading the others and the fact that I'm picking up on some things now that I didn't before. And it's not necessarily like foreshadowing. Like, it's not certain things that like I probably should have picked up on when I read it the first time. It's not like I'm only going to pick up on it because I've read it again. So I don't know if it's because like I'm taking my time a little more, I'm really nitpicking everything. I'm going like paragraph by paragraph and highlighting and like rereading certain things over and over and over that I'm picking up on stuff. Like I don't think the first time I read it that I noticed that they said the king went on his travels to the White Fang Mountains and that's also where Cain is from. But I picked it up this time.
I didn't pick it up reading it. Like, when you had said that he went to the same place where Cain was from, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You're right. He did. And I didn't pick that up when I was reading it. My brain just said, oh, he was away and he came back with all of his party.
And, like, certain things like that might be a little bit more obvious because they might play into something a little bit later in the series. And so, like, that's when I hear certain words, it, like, tickles my brain. Like, this.
Like the big neon arrows.
Yeah. And, like, obviously certain things that I might have brought up that, yeah, I'm only, like, picking it up after reading it the first time. So it's more so for anyone who's listening that has already read it. And it's like, where's the witches at? You know?
Oh, I cannot wait. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. I mean, obviously, my first impression when I started this book, I said it in episode 1. The very first note that I took was Selena is such a badass. And that kept true the entire novel.
And she's a sassy little badass.
She is. That didn't change from the first page to the last. So, like, my first impression of the novel versus how I felt when I closed it was the same. Like, I don't know.
I'll say it as my first impression rereading it. There's so many little Easter eggs to future things that happen. And it's crazy to see just the small little, like, tidbits of information. And it's getting me so excited to reread the rest of it.
You're going to have to point out stuff as, like, we're doing episodes. When you come across parts in future books that point back to the first book, you're going to have to point them out to me.
I'll be like, this happened, and if you remember, back in book 1, they mentioned this.
Oh, I can't wait. I love that. I love it. Do we want to do some character deep dives?
Absolutely.
Would you like to start with our Selena?
Oh, you gonna give me the big one?
I just want Kale.
I just want Dorian, so. Sorry, Selena.
Yeah.
You are the star, but book boyfriends matter.
Yes. That is all that matters.
So Miss Selena Sardathian is, as we know, Adarlan's most notorious assassin. She was trained from a very young age by the king of assassins, Arobin Hamel. She is intelligent, skilled, determined, and very loyal, but she's also arrogant, stubborn, and oftentimes very reckless. She is highly motivated by her desire for freedom and a life beyond killing and intrigue. She wants to escape the darkness of her past and the trauma she has endured.
Oh, our poor girl went through the ringer.
Absolutely.
She had to deal with a lot.
And she's gonna have to deal with a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she witnessed her parents dying in the most horrific way that you could ever find your parents dead. Basically swimming in their blood. then being trained as an assassin from the age of 8.
Yeah.
And then having to endure the salt mines for a year. And now she is put into this competition with all these other thieves, other badasses.
And, like, at this
to
point,
basically be the last man standing.
We don't know the extent of the torture she endured in the salt mines. Or by Arabin.
No.
Because that is kind of alluded a little bit that she went through the ringer with him as well. Like,
yeah,
making her break her arm so she could use her left hand.
Yeah.
Like, it might have been for training purposes, but it was still a form of torture.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, let's talk about some of her strengths and weaknesses. Because she's got a lot of both.
Yeah. She is our typical, I guess I can't really say that because there's nothing typical about an 18-year-old assassin. Never mind.
Well, she's a highly skilled assassin. She's proficient in various forms of combat and weaponry. She's also intelligent, resourceful, and very determined.
Can we just talk about for a second how nice it was to read a fantasy novel with a female main character that wasn't dumb as rocks.
Yes. Okay.
She was actually really smart.
And okay, so while we're reading these books, the majority of the other things that I'm reading are like the Christmassy rom-com type things. And Jesus, does every female character just make me want to rip my hair out and just punch them in the face. Like, coming back to this series after I read a few of those is like a palate cleanser. Because I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Finally, a female character that is written, I don't know, like realistically, maybe?
Yeah. Like,
just somebody that actually uses their brain. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about romance writers, but Jesus, like, you say your characters go to school and are nurses, doctors, everything else, but they have the common sense of a fucking goldfish.
Yep. Yep. No, thank you. I think I'm done with those books. After reading Selena's character, I'm just like, no, if they don't match up to Selena, it don't matter.
I mean, she still has some weaknesses. She has her
True.
downfalls. She's arrogant. Oh, I mean, I kind of like that, though.
Just confidence. It's just confidence.
Yeah. She's she's reckless, and that often gets her into trouble.
Yeah.
She struggles with her identity as an assassin, and she desires a different life, and her past is always haunting her. It's always on the back of her mind and following her everywhere she goes.
Yeah. Every decision she makes is impacted by that.
I'm like, oh, I got to bring this back into just this book, but talking about her character development, even through book 1, which, like, we already have a strong female lead, but we still see character growth.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so refreshing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, her learning to trust others, she, like, confronting her past, fighting for what she believes in while still trying to fight for her freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And the deep connections she makes with characters, and, like, it's mentioned she never had friendships. Like, she was an assassin. She did have the one guy she was in love with, and that was, like, her only confidant after her parents died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Arabin was Arabin, but, like, Sam was her only person.
Yeah.
And now she has multiple people.
Yeah.
She has Kale, she has Dorian, she has Nemia, she has the little thief, I can't remember his name. Nox.
And Peller.
And Peller, yes. Can't forget Peller.
No.
Our little potions master.
Yeah.
Turn to page 390.
Oh, I think it's time for another Snape fanfic.
Absolutely. There's
Anyways.
never a bad time for that.
I just love how, like, she's starting throughout the novel she starts trusting and putting faith and putting her trust in Nehemia and Kale and Dorian. Like, just seeing her show her belly. Because no doubt that is not something she is used to.
Yeah, and she's still being smart about it. Like, I think it took her the longest to warm up to Kale, surprisingly enough, not the prince. But, like, she mentions that, like, she can't tell Kale about the word marks or, like, the Ritterak and stuff still, because they're still working on that level of trust. But, like, you can see how the trust is growing. You can see those bonds building, and it's so nice.
It is, yeah.
Speaking of Kale, you want to give us a little insight on Mr. Captain of the Guard?
Yes. So, Kale serves as Selena's primary trainer and mentor throughout the competition. He was the first that she met in the story, right? Because he comes to her and brings her out to Dorian.
Yeah.
And I just love how she starts just noticing things about him, like his appearance and, I don't know. Anyways, was getting a little off. But, I mean, he does have a strict demeanor. He has unwavering dedication to his duty, which initially clashes with Selena's rebellious nature. But they do gradually develop a grudging respect for each other. Kale's unwavering support and belief in Selena's abilities play a very crucial role in her eventual victory. He is, like, always on her side, but he doesn't want to admit that he's on her side. Like, his relationship with that is, like, he struggles so much because he still thinks, like, he struggles with trusting her because she's an assassin. You can't trust an assassin. But then the way that he supports her, and the way that, like, he was bringing her to, show her the murder scene, stuff like that, like, all these little things that Kale was doing was pointing us to the direction that, like, yeah, he trusts her.
Like, giving her his sword.
Yeah. Like, like, that just shows his evolution, like, his character development. It's because he's portrayed as a stern and unyielding captain of the guard. But then as the story progresses, he's more compassionate and understanding. And he actually has, like, this friendship with Selena that challenges his view on the entire world, really. And he, like, starts to question the oppressive regime he serves. So, like, what do we like and dislike about Kale? Like, what's...
I can't answer this well.
Okay. Can I just say everything? Okay, no. Okay, Kale definitely has his faults. But I do really like how he's loyal to Dorian. I mean, he's got... Right now in this book, he has Dorian's best interest at heart. Like, that is what he's out for. And, like, the support that he shows to Selena. Like you said, when he gave her his sword. Like, that was just, oh, I loved it. I don't know, I like him. I like his broodiness.
It's easy to be a Kale girly.
It is, and I know I know this is going to come back to haunt me. I know it. But I don't care. I can't help it. I feel like this is tampon all over again. And I'm just like, oh, red flags? No, they're just a little pink.
And it doesn't help. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment how I truly feel about any of the characters as a whole. I'm trying to keep it to, like, how I felt during book one. Certain things that I can't remember exactly how I felt at a certain point in time. I'm just like, I'm just gonna back away and not say anything because I'm very biased to and against certain characters.
Fair.
So I'm gonna keep it as neutral as possible. I wish I could just rewire my brain and read this for the first time again.
Yeah. I feel like that with a lot of books. So what I disliked about Kale, I think it's obvious. I think everybody has the same dislikes about Kale. Like, his need to follow the rules is just, I mean, I guess it's an admirable quality, but
Sure.
he is just such a stickler for the rules. And like sometimes it turns like into harshness. Like some of the things that he said and done to Selena is just like, can you not do that, please? Can you be a little nicer to our girl? She's been through so much. uh, but I do like his character development throughout the story. He really did have.
I think all of the side characters had like a substantial amount of character growth through this first book. Like more than you would normally see.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, like, I think he had the most character development in the book. Then I was like, no, I think Nehemia. Then I was like, no, I think Dorian. And now I'm just like, they all had so much character development. There's no way to pick one that had the most. But speaking of Dorian.
Oh, the little princeling. Or the big princeling, depending on how you want to look at that. So, from the Kale girly to the Dorian girly, I am 100% Dorian girly through and through, and I don't care if it spoils a little bit, but even at the end, I forever will be a Dorian girly.
Yeah. I can see it. Like, it's not that I don't think that Dorian is, like, a good character, good love interest for Selena. It's not that I don't think that at all. Like, I will literally be happy either or. But just right now in book 1.
Now that you mention that, though, the either or, before I get into Dorian, do you think that either of them are endgame for Selena?
I don't know, because it's not often that one of the first love interests, especially in a series this big, is the end game. It's not often that is.
But I mean, technically, this is 2 different interests if we're looking at like the triangle per se.
Why do you ask me hard questions?
At least it's not as bad as the first question I asked you when we first started recording. It's like, who do you think she'll end up with? I think that's how I worded it. Who do you think she'll end up with? Kale, Dorian, or the King? And you were like, the King?
And I was just like, what? I thought I had that question under lock and key, and then you just threw that into the mix. But no, I think I'm assuming that Dorian is going to be endgame. I think. Although I want it to be Kale. But I have this sinking feeling that Kale is going to end up being a shit at some point. He's going to... The big betrayal, I think, is going to come from him.
Anyways. So, Dorian.
Give us the deets.
Dorian's interest in Selena extends beyond her role as a competitor. He's drawn to her intelligence, wit, and rebellious spirit. Their connection adds a romantic element to the story and further challenges Selena's perception of the royal family. Dorian's support and affection for Selena creates conflict with his loyalty to his father and the crown. But right now he's giving off the vibes, fuck the crown, this is my girl.
Yeah. It was a little touch and go for a bit.
Yeah.
But that last, like, conversation that he had with the king was definite. He is sick of this.
Yeah. Like, so, going into his evolution a little bit, he initially appeared as carefree and the charming prince and daddy's little pet at this point. Who
and
drinks and fucks and just doesn't have a care in the world. But as we progress through the story, he reveals a more introspective and conflicted side. His growing awareness of the injustices within his father's kingdom and his connection with Selena lead him to question his role and his future. Again, with the character growth, like, he really comes around and, I love everything about him.
I think he's a real, like, breath of fresh air for Selena.
Yeah.
I think that's really what he does for her. He keeps her grounded. I think.
Yeah, and like his likes and dislikes, that boy does no wrong. He is perfect.
Perfect little angel princeling.
He is charming, he's intelligent, he has genuine affection for Selena, not caring that she is an assassin. And he doesn't care what or who she is, he just likes her for her. Kale likes her, but doesn't like that she's an assassin, wishes she was different. Dorian just likes her. I have very strong feelings about this, okay?
You do. That's good.
As I said, no dislikes. He is perfect.
Well, my dislikes. No, I just honestly, his privileged upbringing. Just, I think that initial naivety about the realities of his father's kingdom. And that's not even really, much because...
Because he's the perfect golden boy.
Right, literally that's the only thing that I could pick out that I don't like about him is just the way that he can't even control that. But yeah, okay, fine. He's pretty great.
He is.
Yeah.
Dorian stand forever. Sarah, for legal reasons, I'm not serious. But if you ever bring Dorian into a future book of yours, if you ever reopen Throne of Glass, I will hunt you and I will make you pay.
Her therapy bill.
Yeah. Extensive amounts of therapy, okay?
Oh, we have Nehemia left. I don't know if I spelled her last name right. Yetker? I mean, it don't matter. Nobody can see it. Nehemia, which is like the BFF of the series. Which was like really touch and go for a while too.
We all have our secrets.
Yeah. Like, okay, girl. But I mean, she provides a crucial source of strength and support for Selena. Like, everybody needs their girl. Like, she has Kale, she has Dorian, but there's things between her and Nehemia that just, I don't know, every girl needs, I think. And she wrote that really well, their girly friendship. The way that they just, gossip and walk around the gardens.
The one thing I wish, though, is that Nehemia also had a love for books. Because you need your book bestie. As much as Dorian could be her book bestie. You need your female book bestie.
That's true, too. Dorian does actually, is actually, her book bestie, which is...
I told you,
hilarious.
She's perfect.
Fair.
Take notes, RJ. I would love for you to read the books that I read.
Would you, though? I think I would be mortified. Select few. Ones that we outline and give you.
I will edit my Goodreads and then give you my Goodreads count.
Oh, we are awful.
Anything Katie Robert, gone. Anything monsters, gone.
Penelope Douglas.
Yeah.
There's some questionable ones there.
God, I think at this point, at least 70% of my TBR is that from this past year.
Yeah. I think if I were to remove everything that was smut, I would have very little left. I think.
It's been a very heavy year for smut.
Yeah. It's been a very heavy couple of years for me, but we just need it sometimes. Anyways, where am I? What am I doing?
Let's get back on track.
Nehemia. So she's a princess of a conquered kingdom. So she understands the oppression and suffering inflicted by the king. She shows up on the scene as somebody who she doesn't really speak their language well. So Selena tends to be her translator, and that helps form that bond. But it turns out that she's not actually there to, like, scope out a husband, learn their way of living. She is, like, I think she's, like, full-fledged spy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Just wants to find it. Yeah, what's going on with the king? What is the war? What is going on?
The moment she starts speaking their language, like, absolute perfectly, like, better than I'm speaking English right now, because apparently I'm struggling with that today.
Yeah. That was...
Secrets indeed.
As soon as Selena noticed that she was reading that book that she shouldn't be able to understand,
Yeah.
I was just like, girl, what are you doing? What is going on? Now, I have been a Nehemia fan from the beginning, since she was first brought onto the scene. So to me, I am like what you are with Dorian. I am like that with Nehemia. I was just like, no, she's perfect. There's nothing she is doing wrong. She is protecting. Oh, I just loved her character. She has, like, an unwavering determination to fight for her people's freedom. And that inspires Selena and adds a bit of political dimension to the story. She is initially portrayed as a proud and reserved princess, but as she starts trusting Selena and that friendship deepens, she does reveal her vulnerability and her commitment to her people. And her willingness to fight for freedom, even in the face of overwhelming odds, makes her a powerful force in this story. Ugh. And I mean, obviously that just goes right into what I like about her with her bravery. She's loyal. She's got this dedication to not just her people, but also to her friends. It really feels like she's one that you want on your side, because she will go to the ends of the earth for you.
And just people in general, like, she wants basic humanity, like,
yeah,
for everybody.
Yeah.
Cue Taylor Swift, fuck the patriarchy. That is Nemia.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, there wasn't much that I could say that I dislike about her. Just, like, her initial coldness and, like, how she was sometimes a harsh judge of Selena's choices. And she could have maybe been a little...
Yeah.
Not fuck with Selena so much, you know? But I understand. I mean, she didn't trust... She's on a very important mission. So she can't just be giving away all her cards all willy-nilly. So I understand.
I'm realizing that my hatred of miscommunication stops at romance novels and, like, romance situations. Because when it's between, like, friends, I was like, it's deserved. They don't need to say anything. Like, it'll happen when it happens. Yes. But if it happens during a romance, like, just fucking talk about it. Just say it. Yes. Say it.
Yep. I understand completely. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Chilling like a villain.
So, our first main villain, we have the big bad King of Ardalan. He is the primary antagonist of the story. He is ruthless and tyrannical, and he's conquered and enslaved several kingdoms. His oppressive reign and brutal treatment of those who oppose him make him a feared and hated figure throughout Aurelia. He orchestrates the competition for the king's champion to find a skilled assassin to carry out his darkest deeds. And he lives up to every bit of that statement.
Yeah.
He is a piece of work.
Yeah, I didn't like him. He gave me the heebie-jeebies right from the start.
Do you have any thoughts or theories of the king going into the rest of the series?
I don't know if I have a very hard time with, like, theories, because I'm very much a think as I read sort of.
Yeah.
So when it comes to theories, like, I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't have a clue. Like, I'm just here for the ride, that sort of thing. My brain just, like, does not work enough to...
Okay, well, let me ask you a more specific question then, because it was, and this is all, like, mentioned in this book. Do you think he has more to do with the going-ons in the castle than what is led
Oh.
on.
Yes, yeah. Like, as we were reading the book, I had said that, like, I thought for sure that the king and Parrington, they were in on this together, that whatever was going on with the competitors, that the king was behind it all. Because he is looking for the biggest, baddest champion, even if that means using dark magic to make him bigger and badder, like Cain, what was happening with Cain. But he can't be directly involved with it, so somehow he's getting Parrington to orchestrate everything. And he's the one that, like, banished all magic, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck?
Do you have any thoughts about what we talked about earlier with him traveling to the White Fang Mountains where Cain is from, and Cain seemingly being one of the main subjects of this power, and why the king came back and all of his guards were dead, and like that kind of thing? Do you have anything there?
No, it's obviously, like, really suspicious. And it's obviously, like, what the fuck? I can't for the life of me think of what it could be. Is he also summoning a Ritterak, and did he get all of his party, his people killed and took all their power? Did Cain do it? I don't know. I'm so confused, and there's so many questions. Like, what the hell was he doing up there? Because it's not just, oh, a coincidence that just happens to be where Cain is from. Is not a coincidence. I know that. But my little pea-sized brain can't figure out what happened.
Alright, so we'll leave that for now. We'll come back to that at the next summary episode.
Yeah.
Might have some more answers by then.
What book 2 can enlighten?
So we have our second villain of the series thus far, Mr. Duke Parrington.
Blah. Oh, just a fucking shit stain. That's all he is.
Skid mark.
I mean, sorry. So Duke Parrington is the close advisor to the king. He's a powerful nobleman. He's arrogant, ambitious, and he seems to be fiercely loyal to the king. He sponsors Cain in the competition, hoping to gain favor with the king and further his own interests. Parrington is also revealed to be involved in the plot to drug Selena during the final duel, which made him a pretty significant threat. We get right off the bat, he is a shit character.
Yeah.
The way, see if I can, like, grab that real quick where he, oh, yeah. So, like, right off the bat, she's told to bow to Dorian.
Oh, yes.
At, like, the very first scene when yeah. And she was like, bow to him indeed. If she were bound for the gallows, she would most certainly not spend the last moments of her life in groveling submission. But then she hears thundering steps from behind her, and someone grabbed her by the neck. Selena only glimpsed crimson cheeks and a sandy mustache before being thrown to the icy marble floor. Pain slammed through her face, light splintering her vision. Her arms ached as her bound hands kept her joints from properly aligning. Though she tried to stop them, tears of pain welled. That is the proper way to greet your future king, a red-faced man snapped at Selena. And that was Parrington.
Yeah.
What a turd. Putting hands on Selena like that. Ugh. So yeah. There's nothing good to say about Duke Parrington.
No. I don't even want to talk about him.
Nope. I mean, all 4 of the villains that we have here are all...
They're all pretty awful,
Oh,
but
God.
he just takes the cake.
Yeah, I really do think so. Because, like, he's got a powerful role that he uses to his advantage. Like with what happens with Caltaine.
Yes.
And who is Caltaine?
Speaking of our little opium fiend, Caltaine Rompier is a cunning and ambitious young noblewoman. She is Duke Parrington's lover and uses her beauty and charm to manipulate those around her. And lover is a generous word there.
Lover needs the little bunny ear quotations. That's what she's playing as.
More like his little pet.
Yeah. Although she doesn't know, because she thinks she thinks that Parrington is her pet. She thinks that she's got the upper hand, that she's using him.
Yeah.
But not the case. Anywho.
She's very jealous of Selena's favor with the Crown Prince and is actively seeking to undermine her. She is also revealed to be involved in the plot to drug Selena during the final duel, making her a dangerous adversary. And, the rage that I know I felt reading this the first time about this woman.
Yeah.
I felt zero sympathy for her finishing the first book. Zero sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they start to, paint her in she's being, puppeteered. So she might not be as horrible, but at this point, I was just fuck her.
Yeah. She deserves to go through withdrawals in a dungeon.
Because, even if she's being puppeted to poisoning and doing the more mischievous things, she's still just a cunt. Her personality is just, ugh.
Yeah. And you get that right from the get-go with Nehemia. The way that she speaks to Nehemia.
Yeah, know your place, bitch.
Ugh, I know. But I am curious to see what she's like not under the influence of Parrington's weird mind mojo ring thing.
Yeah.
I am curious to see what she's actually like when she's not being manipulated like that. Not that I think that she's a good character or anything like that, but I'm just curious.
You want to give us a little more info into our final villain?
Sure. He was a formidable warrior and Duke Parrington's champion in the competition. He is physically imposing and possesses a cruel and sadistic nature. Kane repeatedly taunts and belittles Selena, hoping to break her spirit. He is also revealed to be using dark magic to enhance his strength, making him a formidable opponent in the final duel. He's just a brute.
Yeah.
And, yeah, trying to, break Selena down like that and, taunting her and, ugh. Got no time for that.
Yeah.
But they were all important characters to further the plot.
Yeah.
To further the questions we have.
Speaking of characters that further the plot, I want to bring in one more character to get a little bit of insight on, and that's...
Oh.
And character or entity, but Elena.
Oh, Elena.
Elena Galathinius, who was the Princess of Terrasen and was later to become queen after she married Gavin. And she is introduced into the story when Selena enters her tomb through the tunnels out of her room. And Elena comes to her in kind of a dream state. Not physically there, but still able to help her and guide her a little bit through everything she's facing while in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
She gets the amulet from Elena. Elena visits her when she's poisoned in the duel and cures her of the poison. She can't cure her of all of her wounds, but she can at least help her out. But she's very cryptic. She's almost like an oracle that just, speaks in riddles. She won't give you a definitive answer about anything.
No.
The only thing that she says for sure is you need to defeat the evil in the castle.
And did she defeat the evil in the castle when Kane was killed? I wonder. Or is there more?
The way I was just going to answer that thinking it was just conversation.
But I do like how Elena was the one that said, You could rattle the stars, she whispered. You could do anything if only you dared, and deep down, you know it too. That's what scares you most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did like Elena's character. And I hope we get more going forward. They're not going to bring in this badass character and not delve into that more. There's no way. I keep saying they, but I mean, it's Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about, like, the pacing of this novel?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't find it too fast that we were missing anything. They got so much plot and subplot and story between the characters. And I never felt bored. Like, there was no lulls in the story. And it was great to read, especially for our first book in the fantasy series.
Yeah.
And again, with the reading order, if you read Assassin's Blade first, neither one has that, like, Crescent City feel where the first half of the book is just, like, info dump of fantasy names, places, lore. It's very well placed throughout the book, and just the pacing worked perfectly, I feel.
It was literal perfection. That was what I wrote. Perfection. Like, there was no point where I felt like the story was lacking or that the pace was slow. Like, I find sometimes with fantasy, especially, there's parts where it's just like, why do we need this chapter? It's just like a filler chapter, or it's just like,
yeah,
you know, but even like the chapters that could be considered filler, like the chapters where her and Dorian are just playing pool. I'm just like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is a much needed little...
Even, like, that chapter specifically, but the chapters like it, you get, like, the character growth there. You do get little tidbits of information about their past that might be important in the future. Or getting certain little tidbits of information in your mind, like certain names.
Yeah.
Like Sam, for instance, her talking to Dorian about Sam. It doesn't seem like much reading now, but from talking before about Assassin's Blade, you know that we find out more about Sam in the future. So just throwing that in there, just getting that name out there, like, you're thinking. You're like, okay, so this person, and...
yeah.
So good.
She literally gives us enough information. Like, take, for example, Sam. We literally get enough of that if we hear his name again in the future, or if we know that a book is going to have information on Sam, it just makes us want to read it more. We just want to keep going because we want to learn more about what happened there.
Yeah.
So, like, literally there were no chapters in this where I felt like, oh my god, like, we don't need this. But with that being said, while the plot I found was fantastic, I still feel like she could have done a little more world building. Yeah. I do understand, like, I get that it's a big series, so there's a lot of real estate here to put in information, but I just kind of felt like going into this book that there were still a lot of, like, something was mentioned, but it was only just briefly mentioned. Like, there was no real deep dive into it, so I didn't really understand it, or didn't know if it was important enough to retain in my brain. So I kind of wish there was a little bit more given to me.
Even just, like, the descriptions of locations. So, like, we get the big three mentioned, we get Endovier, we get the castle, and we get Elway. Like, three specific places that are mentioned. I know Elway is, like, the whole little city, but it is mentioned frequently. But, like, or even the slave camps in Elway. Like, I'll use the castle as my main example. There was, like, some description about the castle and that city in general, but, like, I can't picture it at this point.
No.
That's why when we started reading this, after we read, like, the first however many chapters, I sent you fan art of what we've read so far, just so you can get a visual. And I know you struggle with visualizing, like,
actual visualizing.
Yeah, like, I see movies in my head when I read things, especially when it's written really well. And I know she can do it, so I'm chopping this up to her being 16 when she wrote this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because she does do excellent world building in
Mm-hmm.
future series.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's what it is. Like, I went from reading ACOTAR first, then Crescent City, and then Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
So 2 of those are very heavy with the world building.
Absolutely.
Crescent City definitely more than ACOTAR, but and then to Throne of Glass, which was very low world building. And like I said, I do understand there's so many more books that she can bring that in, that she can slowly ease in the world building, which again makes this really great for people that are new to fantasy or
Absolutely.
prefer like the lower end of fantasy.
It's very easy to consume. It's your brain isn't just like, oh my god, so much information.
Yeah.
But you do see throughout her series, as she's getting older and as she's writing more, her books are getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because there's more plot or anything else, but there's more world building. She's putting more time into that, into different aspects of the story that need the attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And more development into locations and characters. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't have my books there to look, but I'm pretty sure I believe it's Queen of Shadows, that's when you get significant world building. And you do kind of notice that it is a little slower to read, just because there's so much more being thrown at you information-wise. But there is that progression for Sarah as well. That's nice to see. Like, loving the author so much, but you see how her writing has progressed over time. And I do find it works well in this series. And like everyone says, read Throne of Glass first. Like, if you're reading all of her works, read it first. And it's definitely, especially if you're new to fantasy, like you said, it's a great way to pick it up, because by the time you get to the heavy world building, you're already hooked on the story. So you can get through it easier.
Yeah. Yeah, as for like difficulty of reading, I feel like it should be Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, Crescent City. I think. For like the level of difficulty. Not necessarily storyline wise. I just mean like.
Yeah.
Like I felt that Crescent City was definitely a lot more world building and a lot more information and a lot more characters. It was just very heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a little bit different in terms of like story, of which order I would recommend reading it, because I would probably throw like Crescent City in between a couple of the ACOTAR books. But that's for discussion far into the future.
We'll get there. So in Throne of Glass, what sort of like themes and messages have we got? I know that there's a lot, but like we could just touch on a couple.
Well, one of the biggest ones is identity and self-discovery. Like specifically with Selena, her story has just been incredible so far to read about.
Yeah.
She's grappling with her identity as an assassin, her desire for a different life. She wants the freedom, and this book challenges readers to consider how their past shapes their present and how they can forge their own paths.
Oh, definitely.
Like, Selena grew so much in the first book and figured out so much about herself, and is finally letting herself kind of find happiness a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see.
Yeah, and then that like leads into the other theme of resilience and hope, because like all of her experiences in the salt mines, they've obviously left her physically and emotionally scarred, absolutely traumatized, but she still demonstrates remarkable resilience. She refuses to be broken by her circumstances. And I feel like that reminds readers that hope can endure even in the darkest of times. If only one remembers to turn on the light. I do not have Harry Potter on the brain.
No. This is 2 throws to Harry Potter now tonight so far.
I am reading 3 fan fictions currently. So it's very embedded. And this time of year is just my, like, Harry Potter. This is the time of the Harry Potter.
I need to get back into the HP fanfics. Very much so.
Yes. Anywho.
Yeah. So we all get by with a little help from our friends, and friendship and loyalty is definitely a big theme in this novel. Selena's friendships with Kale, Dorian, and Nehemia provide her with strength and support, and these friendships highlight the importance of connection and loyalty, even in a world filled with danger and betrayal. And I loved, as we were reading, you kept, like, the idea of betrayal got brought up, and you're, like, kind of going back and forth on who you thought it might be. Like, oh, it's going to be Kale. It's going to be, oh, it's going to be Nehemia, isn't it? Oh, no, it's going to be Nehemia.
Nope, she proved to be the best.
I've loved every experience of rereading this and having someone read it for the first time. It's been so good.
I am set now that it's going to be Kale. That is my... That is what I'm locking in.
Well, my lips are sealed. My face might give subtitles, but my lips are sealed.
And then another theme that we get is the power of choice. So despite the challenges and constraints that Selena faces, she ultimately has the power to make her own choices. And the book really emphasizes the importance of free will and the ability to shape one's own destiny, even in a world that often seems determined to control them. So on the surface, it seems like she doesn't really have much choice. Like her choice, we'll say, was her choosing between staying at the salt mines or being the king's champion.
Yeah.
So really, what was she? She was obviously going to choose her one chance for freedom. But underneath all of that, there are still these choices that she's making, because even when it came down to her finding at the end of the tunnels that there was a way that she could escape. So she was faced with that choice of, do I just bounce now? But
she chose to stay.
Ultimately, she decided to stay because she was like, no, I'm going to do the honorable thing. I'm actually going to fight for my freedom.
And, like, her inner turmoil during, like, the final challenges, and just, she had the choice to either, like, she could kill Kane there, or she could, you know, let him win, or she could go back, like, she could go back to Endovier, or she could be the king. She was processing all of this and still making the decision to best suit her, but also to be honorable.
Yes, yeah.
She wanted to do the right thing.
She's so sweet. I just love her so much. So overall, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your feelings now? Like, I guess really what I'm asking is, what would you rate book 1?
So I rated it 5 stars my first time reading it. And I'm probably going to keep that the same.
Sick. Yes.
Reading it again, I couldn't find anything that would make me dock a star.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What about you? What are you rating it?
5 stars. 5 stars. That was like the easiest 5 stars I ever gave. But I'm finding that with all of her books, I have yet to read a book by Sarah J. Maas that I have not liked. And I know it's probably because I haven't read the 3rd Crescent City book. But still. My history with reading Sarah J. Maas is a very positive one.
The urge to not go on a tangent here about Crescent City 3.
Wait until I read it.
I don't want to discourage you from reading it because it still had some very good aspects. When the spoilers for that book got released from like the Brazilian version or whatever that came out before us Americans got it, like North America, not American. When North America got the book, when I read the spoilers, because I am the person that will do that to myself, I'm reading it and I had a moment like when the Game of Thrones final season came out, and I'm like, this has to be fake. Like, this can't be what actually happened. And like a couple smaller things specifically, and I'm just like, that's so fucking stupid. This can't be real. And then I'm reading it and I'm like, oh my god, it's happening again. I think that is the only book that I rated poorly in her entire universe.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to read it. Just to I don't know what it is.
Now, it might be better for you reading it because you haven't been waiting for that book to come out before you read it. Like, yeah, you're going to have that little break from when you read the second one to when you eventually get to the third one. But, like, waiting and, like, dying for the next book to come out, especially after how book 2 ends. Like, you know how book 2 ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just like...
oh, boy, do I ever.
What? This is what we get.
God. Oh, no. But I've seen people also rate it high and say that they don't get why people rate it low. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to be one of those people that will still like it. Yeah. So who do you think the target audience is for this book? I think we've already said it throughout the this episode, but...
yeah, like new fantasy readers and like older teens, young adult.
So our next book. What is our next episode gonna be?
So our next episode will be starting Crown of Midnight.
Boop boop. So excited.
You are for now.
Oh god.
If you know, you know.
Oh fuck.
I'll just say, get the tissues ready. Have your tissues with you while you're reading.
For this first section? Or this book?
I'm going to say the book in general, because I don't remember
Okay.
when things happen. But basically every book from here on out, I'd probably have a tissue nearby.
I figured.
It's a heavy emotional series.
Yeah. Whew.
So, a little look into Crown of Midnight before we end the episode. Assassin Selena Sardathian won a brutal contest to become the king's champion. Yet, Selena is far from loyal to the crown. She hides her secret vigilantly. She knows that the man she serves is bent on evil. Keeping up the deadly charade becomes increasingly difficult when Selena realizes she's not the only one seeking justice. As she tries to untangle the mysteries buried deep within the glass castle, her closest relationships suffer. It seems no one is above questioning allegiances, not the Crown Prince Dorian, not Kale the captain of the guard, not even her best friend Nehemia. A foreign princess with a rebel heart. Then one terrible night, the secrets they've all been keeping leads to an unspeakable tragedy. As Selena's world shatters, she'll be forced to give up the very thing most precious to her, and decide once and for all where her true loyalties lie, and whom she is ultimately willing to fight for.
What the fuck?
Is that the first time you've heard the summary for Crown of Midnight?
Yep.
As I said, get your tissues ready.
What the fuck? I'm done. DNFing the series. No.
I didn't realize that was going to be like a real-time reaction for you with the summary.
I'm not crying already.
Oh, girl, you're going to cry hard.
Well, that sounds lovely. That sounds like a great book, too. Sounds like it's going to be a whirlwind. Ah.
So, before you listen to our next episode, be sure to read chapters 1 to 9 in Crown of Midnight so nothing gets spoiled for you. I'm so excited.
Oh, next week, all will be revealed. And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass. Adventure